Good morning to all my friends and family, and welcome to this episode of Jim's 5am Club. It's Thursday morning. It's 5:30. Just waiting for the light rail to pop on there and go one stop to get off at Circular Quay. And it's a bit of a breeze blowing. It's a bit cooler this morning. I think there's a cold front coming through, and it's going to plunge to about 5 degrees in the morning on Sunday. But what I want to do today is go through a book summary, and the book summary is entitled Everything I Know, and the author is a fellow by the name of Paul Jarvis. Anyway, the light rail has arrived on time. For those who are not aware, the light rail tends to come through every 2 or 3 minutes, so it's pretty good. It's a very, very good service. Not too many people use it though, but it is a good service. Anyway, let me pop on board here and continue the vlog. So where's this going to take us? Where's this going to lead us? So the author kicks off the book summary with a quote from the book, and he says that what if, he asks a couple of what if questions which are quite powerful. What if instead of reading you wrote? What if instead of watching TV you made videos or vlogs? Instead of listening to music, what if you learned how to play the guitar? So this author here is a person who comes at life from a different angle, and his advice is all about no size fits all. So it's pretty interesting to think about, instead of watching TV, making videos, because that's exactly what I do with Jim's 5am Club. By being a vlogger, I spend more time creating content than consuming content. And the advice also is for people, rather than read books. I remember Steve Covey said this many years ago. He said, either it was Steve Covey or Jim Rohn, I keep on forgetting because they were both very, very big influences on my life. He said, instead of having a library at home full of books that you've read, wouldn't it be better to have a library full of journals and books and knowledge that you've accumulated over your own life? So some food for thought. I guess probably the best balance would be to have a bit of both. But there is a call to action from this author as well to journal and to write down your thoughts and your observations, and to contribute as much and leave a legacy to your family with all of the things that you've learnt over the years. But the author kicks off with the first formal point, where he said that let the most important guide in your life be your own inner values. So this is pretty serious and pretty deep. So we'll harp on it and we'll go through it a little bit more in detail. But it's something which is, as I said, quite powerful and quite interesting, to try and focus on your own values and establish your own values, rather than live your life based on what other people want you to do and what other people have put forward. Because what the author here reminds us of, and it's a very, very powerful and stark reminder, that if you're not careful, each and every one of us have probably seen this over the years, if you're not careful, you may fall victim to OPM, which is other people's measures. So what are other people's measures? To be specific, other people's measures are the external yardsticks that the world gives us to measure our worth. and how we fit into the world. Things like money, grades at school, sales targets or sales volumes, the number of diplomas, degrees and skills that you've accumulated, and for some people the number of shoes that you have in your wardrobe. And yet for others it could be the number of Instagram or Facebook followers or Twitter followers. You know, the world, society is out there trying to entice us to, or fool us to a certain extent, to fall into the measures that others have created for us. But this author here, in a wake-up call, which I do appreciate, basically says that we need to forget all of these OPMs, these other people's measures, these other people's yardsticks, society's yardsticks. Just forget them. And what we need to do is we need to answer the following question. What is important to you right now, and what matters most to you? Because each and every one of us, as we say time and time again, live a different life. We live a different life. We've lived a different past. We're living currently a different present. What I'm doing this morning is different to what you're doing. Even all of the people here in Circular Care at the moment, we are all experiencing a different moment, and we're all going to, of course, live and experience a different future. So the call to action from this author is that we all need to identify our own inner values and not to rely on other people's versions. Because what we need to do as part of this process and part of this project and part of our own individual lives is that we need to establish our own inner worth and ask yourself, how well do I live up to my own inner values? Some really deep questions to kick off Thursday, but these are the sorts of questions that we need to ask of ourselves, ask of our partners, our children and our friends and peers, to help them make sure that they're living their own lives and not just sitting there and trying to keep everybody else happy, whilst at the same time being deeply miserable about what they're doing in their own lives. So the author then goes on to talk about the importance of focusing on the things that are important to you, and his call to action is to make time to work on the things that the world needs right now. Because the bottom line is we can't just sit here. We can't just live through today worrying about tomorrow, worrying about the future, because no one can predict the future. Absolutely no one can predict the future. No one knows, no particular person knows where their tomorrow leads. We all have a fair idea based on how life has progressed, but things can change dramatically from one day to another. And in some ways, setting specific goals, having dreams, and all of those things, as the author here suggests, is folly, is a futile exercise, because we can have all the dreams, we can have all the plans in the world, but it doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to get what we want or get what we plan for. Of course, don't get me wrong, planning may help you get there, but who knows? Who knows, I guess, is the important thing. So the author then says, what's more important than planning and dreaming and hoping and doing all those things is to just get started now just get started now doing anything. Just do, and do what you enjoy, and do the things that you can control right now. Very, very powerful. It's all about, as the author says, just getting started and just doing things. Just like that fellow there, he's just doing something rather than sitting there and doing nothing. Because as we know, by moving in a direction, doors will open and windows will open, opportunities will present themselves, and you've got a better chance of achieving the things that you love. Let me just pull over here. I've got a little bag, so I'll put a bag down. Got to remember to take it with me when I leave. So what else can we take from this book summary? Excuse me. The author says that we need to do the things that we can control now. And another thing which he says, which is a real powerful point, is that his call to action is to change our mindsets from consumption mindset to a creation mindset. Far too many people spend far too much time thinking about what they're going to consume as opposed to what they're going to create. And the author is saying here that happiness, joy, purpose doesn't come from consuming and just taking from life. The pure joy and the pure added value comes from creating. And as he alluded to earlier, rather than sitting there watching television, why don't you get out there and create your videos and vlogs and television? You're in a much better position, or at least in an equal position as anybody else, to be able to make an impact and share your views, your wisdom, rather than just to be a recipient of everybody else's wisdom. Instead of reading books, write journals, write down your thoughts, write down your observations, and be a creator as opposed to a customer is, I guess, the important point that the author is kind of trying to get us to think about. And the author then goes on to talk about the fact that it's probably better to be a creator than a consumer. And one of the questions that he poses to each and every one of us is, we need to ask ourselves, what can I live or do without? And these sorts of questions lead you to a balance, but it also enables you to think about making sacrifices in our lives, because the things that we want to do and the things that we say yes to also have a corollary. That means that we have to also say no to something else. So once again, it's all about following our values. And the last point that comes from this book, from this author, is that we need to be smart, and we need to be, resourceful in our lives to make sure that we're able to get the things that we want. And the author says here, don't be afraid to steal, mix, match, and adapt other people's ideas, other people's intellectual property, because at the end of the day, everything that is worthwhile in the world is a cumulative experience. It's something that's come from someone else. Other people have taken ideas, they've mixed them, they've matched them, they've adapted them, and they've created something new and beautiful out of them. Because we all innovate through OPE, other people's experience, and we're inspired by other people. So don't think that just because a friend of yours, because a work peer of yours, just because somebody else has done it, that you can't do it. I guess the ancient Greeks became famous for being able to change the world and be the eyes and ears and the crucible of civilization, because they were able to take from other people, from other cultures, and incorporate the best bits of those things and use it to express themselves, to document it, and to then pass it on. So that's why part of Jim's first 5 a.m. club, one of my call cries is to live, learn and pass it on, because that's one of the objectives that we all have in life. So don't be ashamed, don't be afraid to steal and mesh ideas, other people's IP into one, because it's a process of iteration and integration that changes even the simplest idea, even another person's product. You can change it, you can refine it, you can readapt it, reuse it to make something which is unique and very, very different, and something that will add value to the world. So don't feel bad about copying, don't feel bad about mixing and matching and putting your stamp, your personality, your interpretation on the things that other people can value and use in the world. So thank you very much for joining me on this episode of Jim's 5 a.m. Club. As you can see, we've got first light at the moment, and it is beautiful. Let's finish off with a positive affirmation. I'm alive, I'm well, I feel absolutely great. It's Thursday, the weekend's coming, and I can't wait to be with my friends and family. I'm babysitting grandchildren this weekend, so can't wait to spend some time with them. So to my friends and family, stay connected, stay relevant, stay reasonable, and let's partner with each other. Let's be each other's partners for growth and development. Let's, as I said before, live, learn and pass it on, and stay connected, stay relevant, stay reasonable, and be the wind beneath our wings, and just support each other where possible, and learn as much as we can. And not only learn, because it's not about knowledge, it's about applied knowledge. So let's take some of these skills that we're getting from these book summaries on Jim's 5 a.m. Club and incorporate them into our inventory of skills, and use them on a daily basis. And please pass on a link to your friends and family. Tell people about Jim's 5 a.m. Club. I have a YouTube channel which people can follow, and I guess there's a resource here. I've created a resource that people can use, people can use as a springboard for their own growth and development, to have 1,000 vlogs, to have over 2 million words that I've talked about. And as I say, if you thought about it, I've probably vlogged about it. So there is an opportunity for lots of people to tap into Jim's 5 a.m. Club, where you've got other people's experience and you can use it and shape it and incorporate it in your life to be used for your own benefit or for the benefit of those around you. Anyway, I'll finish up now. So yasas, filakya, and bye for now on this beautiful, this glorious autumn morning, where I expect it to be a spectacular sunrise. I do see a bit of cloud cover there on the horizon, so it's not going to be absolutely perfect, but it's going to be a cracker of a day from what I can see. The wind is blowing from the west from what I can see, from those flags on the bridge. And I hope we all have a great day. Yasas, and bye for now.